All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Limitless MD. I'm your host, Vikram Ryan. Today, I'm going to talk to you about why success has made me a failure.
What if you could reclaim hours of free time each week, create legacy building wealth, and devote more energy to your passion projects without giving up on your career as a life-saving MD? My name is Vikram Raya, functional cardiologist, high performance coach, and real estate expert. And I'm here to give you the tools, strategies, and solutions you need to transform your life so you can unlock your limitless potential and achieve greatness, all the while freeing up your precious time. Welcome to Limitless MD. Let's dive in.
Let's get something off the table here. If any of you have achieved any kind of monumental success, epic success, something big, there is victory, then there can be what we call the lull. The lull can really sabotage you because what happens is you're resting on your laurels. You're not advancing forward. And what I call is it's going soft. And in fact, I was sort of, I had a monumental year in 2022. We really crushed it. Real estate was, we did one of our biggest years ever. We grew the coaching program, podcast launched, got out to 100 episodes, traveled to Italy, traveled to, climb Kilimanjaro. I mean, it was a monumental year, but then I ended the year in all honesty, I would say in a weak way. And the reason why I say that is what happened was mediocrity creep. And it happens to everybody. If you're really crushing, it's hard to maintain that high level, that high engine of ingenuity, engine of drive, and forward momentum. And what happens is your values, hopefully not your values, but maybe your rituals and your standards drop, right? The things you used to do weekly and monthly, you're starting to skip, you're trying to take days off, you're trying to sleep in, right? I'm the guy that gets up at 4:45 a.m. and guess what? I was sleeping until 7 and I was taking weekends off and I was just, downgrading. And many of you are thinking, hey, it's okay. You work so hard. You had such a great year. Why can't you just chill out? Like, it's okay. But I did not end the year strong. And that is not part of my character. That's not part of my standards. And so I have to dissect what happened. And the reason why I really recognize this was I was listening to David Goggins. He's talking about in his new book, I think it's called Never Finished. It's his second book. The first book was phenomenal. If you've never read it, it's called You Can't Hurt Me. And I was one of the early listeners to the book, and it was a revelation of the kind of beast mode you need to really, break out of, the normal orbit or velocity that we're living in and achieve what we call escape velocity. So, I read David Goggins' book, Never Finished, and I'm in the middle of it, and he's talking about how his first book was a success. He's starting to speak at big stages. People are starting to reach out to him. He's consulting and coaching, and he gets asked to do this ultra race called the Leadville 100. He did it like several years ago, but now he's a lot older. He's, I think, in his late 40s. He has atrial fibrillation. He has sickle cell trait. And he questioned whether he should do this or not because it was so intense for his body and his heart. And he was noticing that this type of David Goggins, it was a weaker David Goggins. It's not the same David Goggins. And he used the same word. He's like going soft. And I'm like, man, that's what's going on. And then he's like, that's not who I am. And he just essentially had to go through a mental transformation. He had to create drive again. He had to create momentum. He had to create like this intensity of his standards and who he is and what he's about and what he stands for. And he even called it, he goes, that's David, the soft one. And Goggins is like the hard version. So it's like, you can use like, Vikram is soft, but Raya is hard. Right. So I was like, all right, that sounds like exactly what I'm going through. I need to, step it up. And so I reached out to a mentor of mine. He goes, yeah, if you're saying you're going to take vacations and hang out with your family, that's one thing. But if you're just sleeping in, you're just watching Netflix and you're just chilling out and not really keeping the same level of excellence and standards that you normally keep, that's not acceptable. So that's when I did a little bit of self-care. I recommitted to action. I went back to my weekly reviews and my goals. And I also got connected again with my why. Why am I trying to be the best version of myself? Why am I pushing myself so hard compared to, my friends, my colleagues, other people that I know? So once I reconnected with my why, I was like, yes, I want to be an example, not a warning. I want to show my children, my friends, my parents, my wife, that I never compromise on my standards. I always play at such a high level. And I also did self-care, right? I did massage. I slept in enough to where I recharged my batteries, and perhaps whatever it was. So sometimes, breakdown or burnout is an issue, but once you have to have these twin cycles of rapid innovation, action, and drive and hustle, and then you need times to refuel. And once you refuel, then you're ready for that breakthrough, the next breakthrough you want. And what I suggest is running in these 90-day cycles. So sprint for 12 weeks, take a week off and refuel, and then sprint for another 12 weeks, take a week off and refuel. And that really, serves people well. The other thing I noticed was normally I have a sort of a sunny vacation planned, in December, and we didn't do that, right? In fact, the small trips I did were actually taxing on me versus replenishing me. So I think that was also part of that lack of drive that I had. But regardless, be vigilant about this. And if you want sustained excellence, which is being a high performer for decades versus days, then this is what you need to do. Just be aware, be cognizant, be vigilant, reconnect with your why, self-care, commit to your weekly routines no matter what, and then just go for it. So guys, I hope this was helpful, and why nothing fails like success, and why you maintain your high standards and stay being a limitless MD. So until next time, my friends, be phenomenal.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Limitless MD. If you found value from this episode, I encourage you to share this episode with a friend and let me know by leaving a review. For more information, make sure you check out the links in the show notes below, or simply visit vikramraya.com. So until next time, my friends, be phenomenal.